Well, it feels like January, early February perhaps. It is April, which I'm reliably informed, and for both the weather and in terms of where Norwich City are in their championship season. Maybe we can all be thankful for that after today's game, where Norwich City have drawn 1-1 here at Wigan. Of course not the result many people would have wanted, especially given what happened yesterday in the championship. There was an air of freedom probably going into this game before kick-off, and I think we all hope that Norwich would kick on and just take a massive step towards really completing this job. They didn't manage it, and to be fair, they were not particularly good today. I'm not going to, let's be clear, and I think it's in the immediacy of the game, there are quite, you obviously get strong reactions. I don't think Norwich were awful today at all. This was no-show. They weren't rubbish or anything like that. They just lost their precision. They got a bit ragged in midfield, especially in terms of protecting the back four. They lost the ball when at times you wouldn't have expected them to, and they didn't create great chances. A bit like Reading, really. They created a lot of really good opportunities, but sometimes the final ball wasn't good enough. Sometimes they didn't just create a good enough look at the goal, or when they did, they just weren't quite as accurate with their shooting and really making it look like a good chance. So it was just a bit scratchy, and given Norwich have set such high standards all season, maybe we can forgive them for the fact that didn't actually transpire today. And so there were quite a few scratchy performances over the pitch. Kenny McLean had a tricky afternoon at times, but used the ball well at other times, and he actually created the equaliser really well. A lovely but perfectly weighted pass for Teemu Pukki to equalise in the remaining few minutes. Tom Trybull Tom Trybull, there's no debate anymore. Tom Trybull, he just got a bit lost in space, but of course Norwich were going to leave gaps because they were trying to push, because by this point they were already a goal down, of course. So Todd Cantwell kind of missing for a lot of the game, and I think he did genuinely struggle today, and that may be an element of the fact that the season has moved on. Norwich's performance level in a lot of ways has moved on since he was involved, and I think that did actually show up a bit today, as it did with Norwich. They had no real control in the game, which in general they've kind of got away with, and I would say they get away with that better when they've got Emi Buendia in the side, because he presses. His pressing is brilliant because it does such a good job of winning the ball back. He times it, he knows when to do it, how to do it, and generally he does win the ball back. So Norwich obviously hugely missing Emi Buendia, and you know my details on that, and again they still haven't won without him this season in the league, so there we go. That is that stat. I'm proud of it. I wish it wasn't the case. So, in terms of the performance, you don't want to hit them too hard. Likewise with Wigan. I mean, I've seen a lot of people say, well, Wigan were amazing. They were brilliant. And Russell down there, one of my colleagues, just said, that's the best he's seen Wigan play this season, which is fair enough. And they've picked up a vast majority of their points here at the DW Stadium. They're a much better proposition at home than away from home. But I mean, were they that good? I mean, they were all right. They worked really hard. They pressed well, and they did cause Norwich problems. And absolutely, in their predicament, in their situation where they're fighting for their lives for points, their knife was between their teeth, as Daniel Farke would say. They did play well. They did a really good job, and they had a good shape that they've no doubt taken from what say Reading did at the weekend. But they were a lot more on the front foot, and they did cause Norwich problems in terms of them playing out from the back, but also kept it relatively solid at the back. But, they recreated a few chances. Some of them were quite good. But, I mean, it wasn't like... I think you could just as easily have said Norwich could have led at half-time, even though it was Wigan who were leading, because Norwich still created 2 or 3 really good sights. The first half was awful as a match, really. I didn't really enjoy it at all. And I'm not saying Wigan didn't deserve to be ahead, but, no one was great. It was even enough. In fact, I thought as the second half kicked on, Wigan were much better. And the first half of the second half, I did think was their best spell of the game. I thought they really caused Norwich problems, and you were just waiting for this Norwich change to come, which Daniel Farke did make it in the end with 15 minutes to go. I mean, to me, that's still 10 minutes too late, in my view. But of course, my view doesn't really count. And B, Norwich got their equaliser within a few minutes of him making the change. So to bring Moritz Leitner, Mario Vrancic and Jordan Rhodes on the pitch is great. I think those two midfield players can continue to consider themselves extremely unfortunate not to be in the 11, and I'd be very surprised if one of them wasn't in the 11, probably for Tom Cantwell come the Sheffield Wednesday game coming on Good Friday, of course. Norwich were behind due to a penalty just before the stroke of half-time. Ben Godfrey and other players sliding in on a shot. It hit Godfrey's leg and bounced, I think it was Morsey's shot, bounced off Godfrey's leg and hit his arm. Now, my first reaction was it was a penalty, because I thought it looked from my angle, bear in mind we were up in the stand, just behind me, up there in fact, that Godfrey's arm was up and the ball hit his arm. When you get a replay that the ball has hit his leg, then hit his arm, and his arm isn't in a particularly unnatural situation, it's not using his arm to be big. He's just literally, I've got an arm, I have to have it attached to my body. What do you do? I mean, I can see why he gave it. I can see why he shouldn't have given it. I think if we had VAR, you'd also get a mix, and it's just kind of underlines the quandary we're in with the handball rule, to be honest. I know a lot of the Norwich guys aren't particularly happy with it, and I can understand that completely, because Norwich are not getting a run of a few decisions at the moment and don't seem to be getting a penalty shout for anything. And it was an awkward timing. Reece James took away the penalty really well, but it was harsh. It could easily have not have been given. It was given, and in fairness, Norwich eventually dealt with it quite well and obviously got themselves level. Last gasp, a saving offside flag at the far post from Leon Clark's header. I think that could quite easily have been given onside by all accounts. I haven't seen a replay of it, I must admit, so I can't tell if it definitely was offside. I've seen some people say it was fortunate, some say it was offside, so I don't know, is my honest answer. I haven't seen it. But if Norwich have got away with one, then we'll take it. But more to the point, Tim Krul's outstanding save as he came out to meet Leon Clark, just deflecting the ball wide, absolutely crucial, because if this had gone to 2-0, Norwich wouldn't have taken a point. And this is, of course, the bigger picture, that, we can be disappointed. 5,000 fans, absolute wonderful view, sight, what commitment from them all to get up so early to make this long old trek, and they've still got to finish it. They've not seen a win, but they wanted their Olays from Daniel Farke at the end. They saw a point. They did definitely play a part. I think it's a shame that Norwich went attacking towards them in the second half. Those fine margins, maybe Norwich would have gone and won it in that regard. So a word for them, absolutely outstanding. But it must be said, this point that Norwich have got, it's important, because Sheffield United having lost, we'll ignore Leeds for the moment because we're not talking about titles, but Norwich now need 6 points from their next 4 remaining games to seal promotion. If Sheffield United lose on Friday, and they will kick off before Norwich because Norwich is an evening kick-off at home to Sheffield Wednesday, then Norwich will only need 3. So if Sheffield United lose earlier in the day, Norwich can beat Sheffield Wednesday and earn Premier League promotion. That is how close we are. Games are running out. But Norwich have to keep up their performance level, to keep their heads and keep on fighting. And you could argue maybe they were fortunate to get a point today, but they did get a point, they did dig in, and they can restart and reset come next week, which no doubt they will. Loads more reaction and analysis, of course, over at PinkUn.com. Check out the PinkUn app, and if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you get subscribed to the PinkUn channel. We'll have loads more for you over the coming weeks as the season runs out. But for now, I'm off. It finished here. Wigan 1, Norwich City 1. All hail Teemu Pukki's 27th goal of the championship campaign. I think that's in all competitions. What a man.